Welcome back to the Local W. Now, I waited because, again, my philosophy this summer is I want to not be a hater. This might be the last season of basketball I ever covered, so I want to make sure that I don't end my career on YouTube being known as the hater. So I gave it time to breathe. I gave it time to recover. We have a game against, I believe, the Mystics in DC tomorrow, so I gave it enough time. The game was Sunday off of our loss to, who did we just lose to? It wasn't the Mystics. Who did we play? Wow, I forget who we played that fast. Was it the Mystics? Who did we play? I'm trying to think back. It was the Lynx. It was the Lynx, Minnesota. They came down to Atlanta and they did a little bit of a number on us. And I didn't want to immediately post the video because a lot of my critiques don't really involve the other team. It's not really much of analysis of the game. It's the same general points that I've been making, but I didn't want to come across as a hater. So hopefully enough time has passed to where I can make these observations and people won't think I'm just trying to bash my favorite team, because that's not the case. I mean, take a look-see. Would someone that owns an article of clothing of this persuasion be hating on their favorite team? Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. I'm a literal season ticket member. Like, it couldn't be me. So hopefully enough time has passed to where I can say what I need to say, where it is not considered hating. Let's try to attempt to have that conversation. Number one, and we kind of alluded to this last video, but Naz Hillman should be starting. I don't believe that there is a world where Cheyenne Parker can continue to be in the starting lineup. Now, this last game that we had on Sunday against the Lynx, she fouled out. You're talking about you're fouling out off of a performance where it seemed like you were allergic to defense. Now, the officiating in our games thus far have been questionable, to say the least. I will give y'all that. But it literally appears like at times Cheyenne Parker is allergic to playing defense. She's uninterested. If it doesn't involve her getting alleged posties off, and I have to say allegedly because you know she loves that jump shot. If it doesn't involve something with her scoring on offense, I don't particularly see an effort on getting defensive rebounds or O-boards or something like that. I mean, unless she feels like she can get the positioning and try to go back up. I don't see it. I don't see instances where you are our only large body out there and you want to protect the paint. Somehow there's a switch and you're over on the arc and we got like Alicia Gray trying to guard in the post or something like that. Now, you could argue that that is a Coach Wright type philosophy, but a majority of the games I've seen so far, especially the ones I've been at, which is every home game so far, so let's not start the casual narrative, they seem to be playing zone. So if they're playing zone and it's not a man on, and I don't know how you can switch while playing zone, that's insane to me, but if you're playing zone and it's basically just coverage, like, hey, tallest person, you just got the paint, I don't understand how she ends up on the perimeter watching, oh, did you get the rebound or not? I don't see how that happens, because the same thing does not happen to Tina Charles. So I'm trying to figure out, especially the way that Coach Wright has her rotations and such, I'm trying to understand how it is that Cheyenne Parker defensively has these lapses when Tina Charles does not. The way they are staggered in terms of minutes and the rotation from Coach Wright. It's an either or. We don't really see LA out there like that anymore. Like, it's very much an either or. They're very rarely on the court together outside of the closing of a game, sometimes, and the beginning of a game. So I want to know, if they're playing in the same system with the same general game plan, why is she specifically having these defensive lapses if it is not she's allergic to defense or doesn't seem to have an interest in it? And if you are not going to play defense, and we already have Tina Charles, who for the stage in her career seems to be holding it down pretty well. I mean, lateral movement is improving game to game. If we already have that checked off and you got Nia Coffey and Naz off the... I don't understand why you're still starting. Now, if it's a personal thing, maybe we just have an attachment, maybe it's based around a 2K rating, I don't know. But I want to know why Cheyenne Parker still starts. Okay, she was an all-star. Are we living off reputation now? Is that how that works? Because I want to know what we benefit from having her out there in the starting lineup. When it matters, like when it matters and you're trying to decide who should get whose minutes, I want to know why Cheyenne Parker's getting picked for this. And I don't want everyone to think I'm just picking on Cheyenne, because there are multiple individuals that we need to talk about. I just wanted to open the video by saying we need to go back to either Nia Coffey starting, or go with Nas. And keep it at that. I think the dynamic duo of, Era Powers and, her and Cheyenne doing some Wonder Twins magic off the bench would be spectacular. It's giving a throwback to the, wow, I forgot her name. Wow, I had it in my head. I just lost it. Almost had it again. You remember we had her in 2021. I just lost it again. What is her name? It's gonna kill me. Bradford, Crystal Bradford, right? It's giving that. It's giving that. If you're doing the by default minutes because people are pregnant or injured and you want to try to do the Shakina Strickland shuffle, then by all means. But if we don't have to do that and we have the necessary pieces, you should play those necessary pieces when it matters to avoid the situations that we end up in. We're 4 games in seeing the same thing. Something else I would like to mention to that general tip, no pun intended, I would just like to take a moment to address that we have yet to solve our Kennedy Carter problem. And what I mean by that, I know a lot of y'all are looking at your devices or whatever you watch me on saying, Sever, let it go. But we have yet to address the Kennedy Carter struggle. And granted, some of y'all never saw her as a point guard. That's fine. But who's running the team? We can go down the gauntlet of names of individuals we have shuffled in to try and make up for it, from your Odyssey Sims to your Aries and stuff like that. Like, we can do that. You can throw Courtney Williams in there too, I guess. I'm just trying to figure out, when is that going to be addressed? Because they thought they were cooking with the Dangerfield thing, but I'm not seeing where she's contributing. Now, last game, she hit a couple shots, but I'm failing to see how that is equating to running the team. Haley Jones, shout out to Haley Jones. I believe we were all under the impression that she was ready to make that step. She is clearly not. From the first play of last game, she's literally throwing the ball into the announcer's stand. The smack was so aggressive, I was hitting the duck and cover. I didn't know what to expect. Dribbling it off of her foot and such. If you're not ready, if the lights are too bright, I get it. And I'm not saying trade anyone. Sever's not saying somebody needs to go anyway. Even with Cheyenne, I'm not saying trade her. There's a place. But I don't feel like these individuals are in their specific roles. If Jordan Canada means that much to the success of our team, with her being hurt, you should have just kept Destiny Henderson at that point. Because I'm not particularly seeing anything from Haley Jones or Gretel Dangerfield to where I'm just like, gaga, we're good. Jordan, take your time. I'm not seeing that. There's a severe lack of playmaking that seems to fall on the shoulders of Ryan Howard. And that's another thing I want to bring up here. If Ryan Howard seems to have the best success of handling the ball and controlling the offense and deciding, okay, it's time to hit the gas and score, I would rather see a pull-up 3 from her in transition than see anything from the other 2 options. If you don't want it to be Ryan, if you want her to continue to be off ball, even though I feel like she has established she can do everything at this point. There was a period of time where it's like, her ability to finish, her ability to handle, her ability to make decision making, but she's at that point where she does everything great. So I don't see why we don't just give the reins to her until Jordan Canada comes back, but cool. But if you don't want to give it to Ryan to continue to let her be off ball for whatever the reason is, especially when it really feels like the offense goes through Tina Charles anyway, but cool. Why not just give it to Alicia Gray then? Let her run the team. Is she not capable of doing so? Like, I get if this was the AD era and you don't know what they're capable of, then it's like, okay, bet. But I'm talking about we have established individuals that can clearly take on this role. I want to know what we're waiting for, because it feels like we're like weaning on the brand of the team and the reputation of the team and something we're trying to sell. And again, the attendance records of the game being all sellouts so far is great, but there gets to be a certain point, and we've had this conversation for 4 seasons now. Is the Atlanta Dream trying to sell a brand or win basketball? And basketball games. There's a world where both can exist, where both can coexist, where both can be true, but I have yet to see it. I have yet to see where the amount of effort that goes into the brand of the Atlanta Dream matches the on-court product. Now, roster-wise, I feel like we're definitely getting there. But the execution on the court is not there yet. And I'm not saying fire a coach we're 4 games in. I'm simply saying I need to see where the energy is consistent. Because if anything, I will take having a trash brand and a couple of championship banners up at Gateway. If that's what we're going after, I'm here for that. Because I feel like, again, this is summer number 4 where I am saying, are we trying to sell a brand or are we trying to win games? And personally, I'm over the brand thing. It's fun, it's cool, it's a great time. But I don't want to friggin' swag surf in the 4th quarter if we're down 10 to garbage teams. And I don't care what the Lynx record is, you're trash. Compared to us, you're trash. I have not done a very good job of trying to come across as not a hater, but I simply am continuously concerned with the things that I'm seeing. I'm sure they'll make the playoffs. I'm sure they'll make some noise. But if the idea was to get better than we were last year, I am foreseeing a first-round exit again if we don't get these things underway. Now, again, I'm not just rebel with no cause. I'm not just yelling just to, yell or critique just to critique. I'm offering solutions here. If we can't crack the glass on Jordan Canada just yet because she's not ready, I totally get it. But instead of Haley Jones dribbling the ball off her foot, which no shot at her, y'all know I mess with Haley Jones, I'm here for it. But if the lights are too bright, we can't have games like that when it's winnable stuff. If she did that against Dallas, bet. It's trash, but bet. But you can't do that against teams that we're supposed to be beating. If the lights are too bright, and I don't know what Dangerfield's doing. Again, I don't know how much you can blame Crystal for that and how much you can put that on Tanisha Wright with what she is asking of her players to do and conduct, especially if you are a point guard. I understand that there's a lot of different places we can point. I'm talking about in the short term of the times that Ryan Howard is controlling the pace and the team and being the coach on the floor. If there is success in that, by all means, why don't we just do that until Jordan Canada comes back? If Cheyenne Parker is fouling out against garbage teams, but we know the second Nas comes in, the second Nia Coffey, and again, I don't understand where the benching of Nia Coffey even came from, because she's the reason why we were making the playoffs anyway. We got Tina Charles. We're good at the center position. We're good. And that's coming from me, and y'all know how skeptical I am of Tina. And not like in a hater way because I mess with Tina Charles. Tina Charles is, I don't think I've ever like verbally said this on camera, but Tina Charles is my favorite player on the team. So it's like, I don't want anyone to get that like weird or like twisted, like I'm hating on Tina. I'm just very confused as to if you got Ryan right there, why is it going through Tina? But again, cool, it is what it is. But the center position that's done. You don't have to worry about that anymore. Doing the whole twin tower things when one of the towers isn't pulling its weight, have her come off the bench. If she wants to act like she's a 6'6" shooting guard, then cool. Do that off the bench with Powers. I think the time to correct this behavior is right now. Get that stuff together right now. I think it's great that Tanisha Wright is doing podcast interviews with Monica Piercing and stuff like that. Like, that's really, really cool. If you're not from Atlanta, that might mean nothing to you. But trust me, down here, that's really cool. That's a great look for us locally. But I'm trying to win games. I don't care about the brand of the team. It's nice. It's fun. It makes the experience more entertaining. But I'm not looking to be entertained. I'm looking to win. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'll see y'all tomorrow, allegedly.